Drink Cinema! Cheers.
Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. We are 2 out of 3 brothers reviewing movies 2 drinks at a time. Hello, Brett.
Hello, Lee.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I am good. I was going to say that in a little German accent.
Oh,
but
no, but you didn't
decided
want to.
not to. We are reviewing A Bug's Life.
We are.
And I know you may have, if you listen every week. Shall we address this straight away?
Yeah, because I'm furious.
If you listen every week, you are expecting the 1993 classic, The Beverly Hillbillies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But unfortunately, a big letdown.
Nothing. No streamage.
Not even on a Russian illegal piracy
Not
website.
even on that Tubi thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that has weird movies.
Very
annoyed.
It's odd because thinking back, I can't think of a reason that the movie would have been cancelled.
Yeah.
Like, cancellation is the only kind of reason I can think for something being not at all available in 2023.
Yeah.
With the internet being the way the internet is.
Yeah.
I've 8 streaming services, plus can buy things on YouTube, and still couldn't watch The Beverly Hillbillies.
Well, maybe it's just because we're in Australia and it wasn't released here. I don't know. Obviously it was because we've seen it. But we would have bought it at Video Easy.
That's why I'm wearing this.
And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
A bit disappointed. You can watch the Beverly Hillbillies TV show on a number of streaming services, but not the movie.
Not a lot of them, though. There's apparently, I'm just looking up, there's 9 seasons of the original Beverly Hillbillies TV show, and only the first 2 seasons are on Amazon Prime Video.
I think you can get the other ones on like Apple or whatever.
1 season on Tubi.
There you go. See, Tubi.
Yeah.
Letting me down, Tubi.
Very odd.
Anyway, so we skipped that, which is very disappointing.
Yeah, maybe we could have just watched 4 episodes of the TV show.
No.
Not the same. This is not like the Brady Bunch movie, the Beverly Hillbillies, where they just seem to sandwich 4 episodes together.
Yes.
That was a legit movie, but that's not what we're reviewing.
No, we're not. We're doing the Brady Bunch either.
We are reviewing 1998's Pixar's A Bug's Life.
Yes, we are.
Only the second major film release from the Pixar Animation Studios, partnered with Disney.
Sandwiched in between 2 better films.
Yeah, Toy Story and Toy Story 2.
Yes.
Sandwiched between much better songs by Randy Newman.
Yeah.
But let's have a drink first.
All right, so I made up a cocktail.
Good. It's very green.
And it was like bugsy and greeny, and I was hoping it would be more close to the colour of the actual ants, but it's too green.
Have you taken the naming inspiration from the way they named Kevin Spacey's character, Hopper the Grasshopper, and called this Tail the Cocktail?
Yeah, Tail the Cocktail, Ant the Ant.
Ant the Ant.
Not to be confused with ants with a Z.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But it's got in it vodka, Midori Blue Curacao, and it's topped off with a bit of cider.
Oh,
and it is like, it isn't just lime cordial.
Yeah, it's cooler.
But cheers.
Scotty's cooler cordial.
Yeah.
Cheers. Oh.
Oh, no.
Is that the cider?
I think it's the cider. It tastes beery.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. I think...
Wait, did I put beer in it?
No. I think adding vodka to cider, maybe not great.
That isn't great.
No.
Maybe with a different cider, Yeah, anyway. I was expecting it to be sweeter than that. But it's drinkable, but not great.
Should we... yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, well. You can't win them all.
Much like Bug's Life, bit of a letdown.
Yeah. So...
I was
It's
expecting a
very
bit more.
interesting that it came out the same year as Ants.
Oh, there's a whole thing. That's
Yeah.
a whole thing, Lee.
Woody Allen and Sharon Stone, as opposed to Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
What, as opposed to one actor from every sitcom on American television.
Yeah, Dave Foley,
Dave Foley.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Kevin Spacey, Hayden Panettiere
Yeah.
as a 10-year-old.
Brad Garrett, Bonnie Hunt. It's a very big cast.
Yeah, and the guy from Mad About You
Yeah.
played Kevin Spacey's
And
brother.
David Hyde Pierce,
Yes, Frasier. Frasier's come back with everybody.
Frasier's brother.
With just Frasier.
Yep.
No one else from the original Frasier series has signed on.
Not even Lilith.
No, not even the dead dad. Not even the dog.
Well, he's probably dead as well.
Yeah, not actually David Hyde Pierce.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing. Interesting to see how they'll address that.
So, this is A Bug's Life. Dave Foley plays Flick, a, quote, courageous but clumsy inventor.
Courageous?
Eventually courageous. It looks great. At the very start, it looks very great Pixar.
Yes.
And you can see why Pixar has became very quickly a phenomenon in animation.
Yeah.
Because it's 3D, it's somewhat too realistic, except the ants walk on their hind legs the whole time.
And they're blue.
Yeah. They weren't, very brown. But,
They were in ants.
Woody Allen's Z was browner than Dave Foley's Flick.
Yes.
Anyway, I like that we have the food offering at the start, and we don't know too much about it other than this is what they do every year.
Yep.
Which very well establishes the sense of normality around the world.
Yes.
The world that we're in this story. But then Flick fucks it all up with one of his crazy inventions after giving 2 concussions to the future queen.
Mm-hmm.
Concussion protocols, she's off.
Yeah,
After
she's out for
getting
2
hit with
weeks.
Those stalks.
Yeah.
She's out for 2 weeks. And little 10-year-old Hayden Panettiere's in instead.
Yeah, she's the second princess.
She's the second princess, Dot.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the names, like do the names mean anything because we have Hopper the grasshopper, but they don't really.
Flick.
Like, what does
Moth.
Flick have to do with ants?
Because you just flick it.
I
don't
get PT Flea,
That's
obviously, PT Barnum.
Heimlich.
Heimlich the German,
Yeah, I'm like a grasshopper.
who eats a lot.
I mean, a caterpillar.
So
Yeah,
maybe that's
He's
it.
a very hungry caterpillar. Rosie is a...
Is the Stick in Six name Slim, or do they just call him Slim?
I think his name is Slim.
Yeah, that's lazy.
Yeah. What's the
Like-
ladybug? Oh, Francis. Yeah.
Yeah, which I get is a gender neutral name.
Yeah.
And it's a male ladybug.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what they were going for.
No.
So we have the normal world and then Flick fucks it up. And it basically from there follows the story structure of this guy's a bit odd and stuffs something up and he needs to fix it.
Yeah.
He, ruins their chances of feeding the grasshoppers, which isn't biologically accurate.
No, it's not.
No, because I looked it up. It is more likely that ants prey on grasshoppers.
Oh.
Yeah. If a grasshopper becomes slightly injured and can't jump, it will get eaten by ants.
What do grasshoppers eat? Don't they eat like fleas and shit?
I don't know. Leaves? Grain in this movie.
I don't know if they eat grain.
Well, I think...
There's a fair bit of artistic license with the circle of life.
That's true. And it's a circle of life thing, which could have been a reference to an earlier Disney movie. So it's a story of somebody is a bit different and issues are caused by his difference and his attempts to make things change in the established world. Then Hopper the grasshopper comes and he is a bad guy. And we also get the timely threat of until the last leaf falls, which puts a time limit over this whole thing.
Yep.
And then Flick starts his quest.
His quest to find warrior bugs.
Yes, which goes into the trope of this world is stuffed, one person has to go and find help.
Yes.
But he finds help quite quickly.
He does. He just does. He goes to one bar
Yeah.
and they're there.
Because normally in that type of story of the world stuffed and one person needs to go and fix it, there's challenges along the way.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even get a bird swoop on him.
He doesn't have many. Yeah, he doesn't have many challenges.
He just literally walks to the city.
You know, that's
Like
what it was
Oliver.
like when he was leaving.
No issues for Oliver to get to London.
No.
Maybe that's where the inspiration came from.
When he was leaving the ant island, because that's where all the ants
Yep.
live.
It's like human. We are on the human planet.
Yeah. And I remember there being a bird attack near the edge of Ant Island. I
Yes.
thought that's when he left, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
me
He
too.
just grabbed a dandelion thingy,
Yep.
floated
Flew off.
away, hits a rock. That's about it.
Yep. Until he gets to the bar and finds this circus troupe that he's decided are actually fighters.
Well, they were fighting when they saw him.
Yeah. The circus scene before Flick gets there, though, I think is very clever of showing little... And Pixar kind of do this well in putting... Well, actually, animation does this well of putting human things with little animal things.
Yes.
So, like the fireflies have these little things on their butts, so they're spotlights.
Yeah.
And she's the master of the high wire because she's a spider.
Yeah.
So clever at things like that. I don't know why the pill bugs just spoke, according to my subtitles, foreign language.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that either.
Yeah. Do we just think it's funny for them to go...
Yeah. Yeah. It was we just have them talking gibberish the whole time.
Yeah. Or is it like... I don't want to say it. It was the 90s. Is it a bit of those like circuses would have a couple of little foreign gymnasts?
Oh, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some little foreign gymnast
Tumblers.
that goes, hey. And that's all
Yeah.
they do, and then they roll off stage.
Yeah, maybe.
Should we cancel this movie?
No.
Oh, okay. If the Beverly Hillbillies can be cancelled for a grandma giving the finger, I assume, I don't know. Or is it from saying, happiness is hard to find?
Yeah.
I laughed because after we decided to do the Beverly Hillbillies, I watched My Kitchen Rules and Manu said happiness. And I laughed and then I texted you because he said
did.
happiness. Oh, Manu. Yes, they do the circus thing and that's very funny and P.T. Flea dies in a fire like he did in The Greatest Showman.
Uh-huh.
And then they get away and they are fired.
Oh, because P.T. Barnum.
Really?
Yeah, I only just got that.
What did you think the PT was for?
Because it rhymed with flea.
Poo-poo platter.
Poo-poo platter.
Who ordered the poo-poo platter?
Oh, so many lines. I was just like, I remember that from a kid.
And then the chef has killed one of his patrons.
The chef, yes.
I said no salt.
He gives the slug salt.
That's like basically saying I said no nuts and then someone not having their EpiPen on them.
Yeah.
So
And
that's a 1 star.
The slug had an EpiPen that was like just water.
An anti-salt
Yeah, like
EpiPen. Oh, yeah.
a water pen.
Regardless.
Or he was just walking around like all the other bugs, just grabbing beads of water from flowers and leaves and shit.
I did like the grabbing of the beads of water.
Yeah.
But I do think that bar's getting a 1-star Yelp review from that slug.
Well, it's also constructed very securely.
Yeah.
If you run up the
One
side
ant.
of the wall, it will roll over.
One ant rolls the whole thing away.
Yep. But yeah, it was very... The whole script generally was very Pixar cleverness,
Yes.
subtle jokes in there for adults that the kids aren't going to get.
Like at the end, you can rub lotion on me later. The queen.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Ooh.
And then
Horny point.
the two of the flies at the circus show, hey, Ladybug, why don't you come over and pollinate me or whatever?
Yeah. Pollinate with a real bug or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
You're making the maggots cry. That was funny, though.
That's funny.
Oh, I saw this in the cinema, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, we'll come back to that. So
Did I?
he hires the circus troupe to fight, and that is the misunderstanding
Yeah.
in it. Because we've got he brings back help, but it's not purely kind of that action, I need to bring back help, and then we fight thing.
Yeah.
We have this comedic misunderstanding of them realizing that they're there to kill people when the little grade 2 ant
Yeah.
goes, we had one of you die in the mural because my teacher said it would be more dramatic.
I loved that. I loved that bit. And Bonnie, the smarter, was like, oh, look at the bright colours of blood.
Yeah. And that's when they realise they're actually there to fight.
Yeah.
But then we get another layer, which Pixar do very well, of Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Veep, having to prove herself in order to get the top job.
Yeah.
And also Flick and her have the same issue of being everybody expects they're going to fail and they're constantly waiting for that.
Yes.
So that's layers, layers, layers. Then we get a bird attack,
We do.
which I think for kids would be quite scary.
It was quite intense, especially when they're down the crack and
In
then
the canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Very-
full on. Very well animated bird.
Oh, yeah.
Better animated than the ants. But I guess the ants are meant to be anthropomorphized.
Yeah, like not, it's more animated ants rather than real life action crab in the new Little Mermaid.
Oh,
That looks a bit
awkward.
weird.
They should get Pixar back. If they're going to do this live action animation shit, get Pixar back on board, please, Disney.
Yeah, but then it's not live action.
No, but I feel like Pixar are closer to making a flounder look like a flounder, but also something you want to see on your cinema screen
Okay, yeah.
than Disney are at the moment.
Yeah.
They got lions right, pretty much.
And tigers and bears.
Yeah. Oh my. The bird thing is scary and would be scary for kids, but Saving Dot makes sure that people believe in the circus troupe.
Yeah.
And also within that, the little story device of Francis breaking his leg means they have to stay around. They can't leave already. And then that...
They could have.
They so could have.
He could have just got on the back of Brad Garrett
As
and
he
flown away.
did every other time just about.
Oh, no, but he flew carrying
Yeah, but
Niles.
Brad Garrett can carry...
All of them.
Niles could carry Francis.
Yes.
I feel like
Anyway.
should Francis be someone?
Dennis Leary.
Is it?
It's Dennis Leary.
Oh.
Pretty sure it's Dennis Leary.
Oh, because he was the angry one. So, of course, it's Dennis Leary.
That second Dennis Leary movie, isn't it?
It is.
What was the other one he was in?
Sandlot.
Ah,
He was the arsehole stepdad.
right.
Yeah.
Actually, the-
Kevin Spacey, Dave Foley sitcom, Julie Louis-Dreyfus sitcom, Phyllis Diller
Phyllis Diller.
sitcom, Richard Kind is from Mad About
Yes,
You.
Richard Kind.
David
He's from
Hyde
everything.
Pierce. Yes, Dennis Leary. Jonathan Harris from Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Which I can't help but think of Family Guy when I see him.
Okay.
For some reason, the pub that I go to for karaoke, on one of their screens, plays 1960s Lost in Space flat out.
Yeah.
I can't even think of why. Except the other week they were playing Batman, which I was
Okay.
much happier about.
Well, that's a bit more gay than
It's much camp, but Lost in Space, 60s Lost in Space is pretty camp.
it is.
Especially Jonathan Harris, who essentially plays Jonathan Harris, I feel.
Why, when I'm looking up Dennis Leary, would the first thing come up be what he's written? That's not what I'm looking at. Anyway, continue.
Well, I think most people, when they think of Dennis Leary, think of the song Arsehole.
You know what I kept distracting me? That one of the ants, there was
Yep.
like the one that was walking around with a clipboard all the time.
Well, with the abacus.
You had this voice, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
I've heard that voice on cartoons so many times before. And I had to look it up, and he was like, in The Simpsons, he's like the guy that runs the studio that makes Itchy and Scratchy. I was like, he's in something, like a lot. So that's what it was. And I was just like, thank you.
Not Roddy McDowell.
No, not Roddy McDowell, the other one. Like Rocco something.
Oh, and another sitcom, John Ratzenberger.
Yeah,
as
John
P.T. Flea.
Ratzenberger.
Yeah.
Oh, I read
Bonnie
something
Hunt.
that quoted him
What
as
sitcom was she in?
quoted him as Pixar legend John Ratzenberger.
Well, that's true. He did. Well, also,
Small Soldiers.
if you look at Bonnie Hunt, she's in the Monsters Inc. movie. Monsters at Work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bug's Life. Dennis Leary was also in Small Soldiers. That's the one we did most recently.
Oh, so it's our third Dennis Leary movie.
Yeah, Sandlot. Was he in something else as well? Was he in no.
Are you telling
I
me
thought he
we've
was in,
almost done as many Dennis Leary's movies as we have Robin Williams movies?
Yeah.
I saw a meme during the week. Well, not a meme. They sometimes have like screenshots linking to an article about guest stars in Sesame Street.
Yep.
And it was like Robin Williams talking to Elmo, and he had a broomstick.
Okay.
And Elmo's like, what can you do with that broomstick, Mr. Williams? He's like, you could be a hockey goalie, or you could be a this, and then something completely stupid. And then he turns and goes, I've won 2 Oscars, Elmo. Like, and I'm pretending to be a hockey goalie with the broomstick on Sesame Street. Okay. But it would have been funny. Like, not actually he's taking the piss out of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
But he's making a joke.
Okay, that's great. Well done.
Just as a side note, where
Did
are
he
we
at
up
all,
to in the
did
movie?
he at all sweep with the broom?
No, it didn't have a head. It was just
okay.
a stick.
It was
You know
just a
how we
stick.
used to play the Matrix with broomsticks? Or like samurai sword
Okay.
with broomsticks. Yeah.
Where are we up to? They come back, they do
So
the thing, he breaks his leg.
the circus troupe agreed to do the fight because Flick convinces them that this bird act will work. But they still don't want to get found out. So there's still that threat of, oh my God, will they get found out? Then Mr. Potato Head comes and, as P.T. Flea, comes and they are found out.
Yeah, because they have a very good poster.
And there's very good artwork. There's a
Yeah.
quick turnaround between I don't want to get found out and oh shit, I'm found out.
And let's run away hiding behind this leaf.
Yeah, they try to fit everyone under one leaf and then they run away. But then Dot hears the hoppers threaten the queen, so they have to go back.
Yeah.
Then a fight happens. I'm glad that the bird plan doesn't work.
You know, I was like, P.T. Flea was fully prepared to set fire to an actual real bird. He didn't know that bird was fake.
Yeah.
He was going to set the bird, a living bird, on fire, like fried chicken.
Well, because that's life or death.
Yeah, there's better ways to go about it than setting a bird on fire,
How
John
else?
Ratzenberger.
You're this big.
Hop away, Flea.
True, he can hop away, but he's protecting his now. He decided they're friends because they're successful.
Because he can make money off them now.
Yeah, he's protecting them,
Yeah.
just like Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
Only cares about the little freaks because they can make money.
But then
That's
they
not
have
what
a
the
dance
movie's
number and they're all friends. That's
Yeah.
more Greatest Showman than this.
Yes, okay. There's not as much dancing in A Bug's Life as there is Greatest Showman.
No.
The bird plan doesn't work, and I'm kind of glad for that because that makes the we are all ants together thing be a thing.
Yeah, like Hopper says.
Yeah.
They outnumber us, blah, blah, blah.
But then feeding Hopper to the baby birds at the end, that is full on.
That's intense.
That is full on.
Yeah.
He deserves it, but it is full on. He was going to smush the queen.
He was going to smush everyone.
He was going to smush Dot, the little cute Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah.
Then the scientific advancements that Flick is able to make in that community within like a couple of weeks
Yeah.
is amazing. How he can work it, like the angles to get 2 grain stalks to fly in the air and hit together
Amazing.
and explode into fireworks. That is some high-level mathematical calculations for an ant.
He's a genius.
He is a genius.
I said it. Yeah, I said it. Flick is a genius.
I hope that he is genius enough to understand sustainable farming because they've gone from
they could over farm the
they've
grain.
gone from taking 3 grains out of one stalk to leveling a field.
Yeah.
So I hope his genius extends to sustainable farming.
I don't think it does.
And A Bug's Life 2 never happened. So maybe
Well, that's why, because they ran out of grain. I'm like, fuck, what are we
A
doing?
Bug's Life 2, no more grain.
Maybe A Bug's Life 2 could have been that they ran out of grain, so they had to go to a new ant island, and the ants they met there was Woody Allen.
And they had to fight. And Woody Allen set fire to a bird.
And he was all like, I'm just an awkward ant. I'm sorry, Mr. Grasshopper.
Sharon Stone is an interesting choice.
I was going to watch it as well to do a direct
compare.
comparison,
Yep.
but I was like, I cannot be bothered. I was like, sorry, Woody Allen.
I watched Minions.
I'm pretty
this
sure
week.
he's cancelled, isn't he?
Well, for what he did in the 2000s when he
Married his daughter.
married his adopted daughter, he would have been instantly cancelled today. But cancel culture didn't exist in the 2000s.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's a great Pixar film, but I don't think it's quite at the level of depth that when we think about Pixar films, we think about deep emotional
Yeah.
stories.
I think that in the terms of,
I don't think they were quite there yet.
yeah, in terms of Pixar, it's a very good movie.
Yep.
But in terms of directly comparing it to Pixar movies, which we might do later,
Yes.
it's not up there. Like,
No.
they said, I read something calling it a sophomore slump. Because
Okay.
they went Toy Story, Bug's Life wasn't that great. Toy Story 2. And they were like, this is much better. Sure, it's got Joan Cusack in it, but this is much better.
That's the only role I will tolerate Joan Cusack in.
Okay,
Okay?
cool.
All right.
Do you know the story of Wall-E
Yeah.
and Bug's Life came up in...
Yes.
Once the Pixar story department had a lunch, they were just sitting around having a lunch conversation
Yep.
and came up with some movie ideas. And the ones they came up with were Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, and Wall-E.
Wow.
That is a very productive lunch. How much money did they make from that lunch?
That one lunch. I hope they claimed it on the expense account. I saw a meme the other day that said the guy who, I don't know how true it is, the guy who's paid to come up with the names of Pixar movies is paid $700,000 a year and got a $300,000 bonus for coming up with Cars.
You know what he also got a bonus for?
What?
Cars 2.
Cars 2. More Cars.
Cars 3.
Toy Story 2. I think that all of the seeds, pun not intended, of all the little rocks
Yeah.
that would grow into the what Pixar is, right?
Yeah.
This deeply emotional, multi-layered stories that work for kids and have always a lesson for kids.
Yep.
Even if in the 5-minute minis before the actual movies.
Yeah.
All of the seeds of what Pixar has become are there in this movie. Because it fits a well-known story structure, which is kind of what you need to engage kids.
Yep.
And it anthropomorphizes animals in this case, as opposed to toys or cars or monsters in other cases. It has the multiple layers in that we feel sorry for Flick and we feel sorry for Attar, and we have this message of if you all unite as one, you'll beat the bad guys.
Yep.
So all of those seeds are there, but they don't quite nail it as deeply as they do in later films.
Yeah, they definitely got... I think because maybe they were still testing out how deep they could go.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of making adults cry at animated movies, they weren't quite up to the standard of Up or Toy Story 3 yet.
Yeah.
But, so they, were, I think, potentially slowly building that. And then it, had a bit of its thing where they made, whichever one was probably considered that, probably Wall-E. And then they went, hang on a minute, we could do this more, and more adults will be willing to take their kids to these movies.
They really did lead the change of animated movies being fully family movies.
Yeah, well, them and Shrek.
Yeah, DreamWorks.
Just
Correct.
Shrek. Not Ants.
Was Ants DreamWorks?
Ants was DreamWorks. So Bug's Life was initially inspired by Aesop fable
Okay.
called The Ant and the Grasshopper.
Yep.
And basically this movie created a feud between Pixar and DreamWorks because they had Bug's Life and Ants going at the same time.
Okay.
Because the guy from DreamWorks, Jeffrey Katzenberg, he used to be a Disney employee.
We mentioned him last week.
Yeah.
Because he's the one... Oh, no, 2 weeks ago. He's the one that wanted the guys from Cool Runnings to sound like Sebastian the Crab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, then he got fired. No. He left because he had a feud with Michael Eisner, the CEO at the time.
All right.
Then he formed DreamWorks thing with Steven Spielberg and David Geffen, just some small names.
Yeah.
And they were like, we can make our own animated thing to rival Disney.
Yep.
Pixar
with a
time
couple of
was
names,
John
yes.
Lasseter and Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Also,
always forget.
A couple of names. Yeah, Steve Jobs.
Steve
After
Jobs, I
Steve
forget
Jobs got fired from the company he founded, Apple, he then was like, well, I'm going to do something else with computers and helped build Pixar to the point where Disney wanted to partner.
Yeah.
And then, David Lasseter and Steve Jobs kind of started the digital animation really powerhouse.
Yeah. So DreamWorks' first animated thing was Ants.
Right.
And so Pixar were like, what? Why are you doing this? Didn't we come up with this idea?
Right.
But Lasseter and Jobs believed that their idea for Bug's Life was stolen by Katzenberg.
Yep.
And then, so that was the big feud between who stole what. But hey, I wonder who won. Ants or the fifth highest grossing movie of 1998?
I just love... Zed is an anxious worker ant who is suffering an existential crisis due to the fact that everyone in the colony, even his psychiatrist, reminds him of his insignificance. If they didn't write that for Woody Allen, then come on. They set it on the island of Manhattan and filmed it in black and white.
Yeah. So
instead of Ant Island, they cast Woody Allen, so it had to be set in New York.
It was Ants in New York, yeah. So they were like, then the feud went on a bit. And so much so that Disney's decided to release Prince of Egypt the same day as DreamWorks released Ants.
I love it. I love it.
But I could go on for a while. I love that, but every now and then there's movies that come out the same time that are the same.
Yes.
Like Deep Impact, Armageddon.
Yep.
Titanic, Speed 2 Cruise Control, which you touched on before. Yes. So it's. I think it's funny that how much it kind of happens.
You know what though? Like Katzenberg was head of Disney, right? We've talked about. We did Fern Gully.
Yes.
Right? And they tried to kill Fern Gully.
Yeah.
And so Katzenberg was head of Disney when they tried to kill Fern Gully.
Maybe that's why that was the feud and that's why he left.
What did he think was going to happen if he comes up with an ant-based movie at the same time as even then one of the biggest entertainment corporations in the world?
Yeah.
And I know you've got Steven Spielberg, but it's still your first movie. It's your first attempt to release something.
Yeah. So I think that Jobs has been quoted as saying, the bad guys rarely win in response to DreamWorks' head of marketing. Saying that because Katzenberg stole the idea of having an ant movie. Oh, gosh, I want to research more about this, but I could go on for ages.
Oh, yeah, the tea. You want all the tea, don't you?
Mm,
What did Prince of Egypt take us at the box office?
did all right.
Oh, 218.
Yeah.
Ants took 170.
Yeah.
So it did better than... and Prince of Egypt, I haven't seen. It's not up there in Disney
I
movies.
haven't seen it, but it does have a song. Wait, is that the song with the Whitney and Mariah song? Is that from Prince of Egypt?
Do you want me to
Or
look?
is that from Prince of Tides?
Yeah, Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston were praised for their vocal contributions to When You Believe.
Pretty sure it won an Oscar for that song.
Stephen Schwartz can compose a song.
He's pretty good. He
And
did a
Hans
little
Zimmer.
musical. Hans Zimmer. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a country-themed Nashville soundtrack, and the gospel-based inspirational soundtrack functioned as film tributes. The official Prince of Egypt soundtrack contains the actual songs from the film. So there was the actual soundtrack, and then they recorded the songs in a country style and released them, and recorded them in a gospel style and released them.
okay.
So that probably helped the money making.
Other than the big feud between DreamWorks and Pixar, there's not much of a cultural contribution.
I definitely think it contributes to Pixar being the level of Pixar
Yes.
that it is.
I think that, it just didn't quite Pixar. It did take a bit of a slump, but at the time it was great. I think it's just now compared to everything else, it's a bit,
But also, in the whole scheme of Pixar, if this is the one of the lowest, it's still pretty good.
It's still better than The Good Dinosaur, though, which nobody's ever seen.
Is that a Pixar film?
I'm pretty sure it was Pixar. Was it just Disney?
Well, it's
the
not on the list
score-
I'm looking at.
The score was nominated for an Oscar and a Golden Globe,
Oh, no, The Good Dinosaur, yes, that is Pixar.
and it got a couple of Grammy nominations for the score and the song in the credits. No.
Yeah,
And it also got a BAFTA nomination for visual effects.
okay. The whole thing is visual effects.
Yeah, it didn't win though. So sorry, something did it better. Probably Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, true.
I read this thing which doesn't make sense to me. It was the first film to be digitally transferred frame by frame and released on DVD.
Yeah, wow.
There you go. And then you got it at Video Easy.
Definitely. I saw it in the cinema with my second best friend. You know, when we had our whole day rehearsal and then you have the afternoon and then you come back to the concert hall in the night?
Oh, yeah.
We saw it in the afternoon.
Oh, that was good planning.
And it was the first... It's quite nostalgic for me because it's the first time me and my second best friend really became friends.
Oh,
And we went to Macca's after.
Yeah,
And
duh.
I sipped my thick shake and tipped it at the same time and spilled on my clothes.
you're just like Dave Foley.
Yeah.
And then you got kicked out of Macca's and returned later with some backup.
With a better way of improving Macca's. It's... Yeah,
They
it's
also had a...
very nostalgic movie. We
Yeah.
often... I am a beautiful butterfly.
From up here, you all look like tiny little ants.
I forgot he said that. That was so funny.
My wings.
When I said to Mum we're doing A Bug's Life, she's like, is that the one of don't go to the light? Yes, it is. But I thought that was like a little opening of the film.
No, it was
Yeah.
when he's in the city.
I thought
the big
that
city.
was a little bit like, how funny are bugs in the real world? And then it goes to Ant Island.
I was
I
thinking,
got that the wrong way around.
imagine like this is all happening in your backyard. Like you just
Yeah.
go out to your backyard and you're like, what the fuck is going on down there? Why is there a bird on fire? And why is there a bunch of ants being attacked by 5 grasshoppers and then these other random bugs?
Yeah.
Imagine that. I
Or
can't
if
wait
the
for Disney's
bug-
live action Bugs Life. I cannot wait.
Or the Bug City
Yeah.
is in your backyard.
Yeah.
Just like, why is that tin rolling around? Like, why is that little one on fire here?
Ant Island is in Andy from Toy Story's backyard, and the Bug City is in Sid's backyard
It's
next door.
backyard. Yeah.
Because it's a little bit rougher back there.
He would set fire to a
He
bird.
would, yeah. I think he did. I think he probably did.
He definitely, with that magnifying glass, took out a few of Flick's friends.
Yeah.
Varley.
Yeah. Varley and number 473. It had a video game, as
Yeah.
of course.
Yes, it did.
And I'm going to say that it launched Hayden Panettiere.
Okay.
I think it was like she did the voice of this, then nothing, then was Heroes, and then maybe that launched her a bit more potentially. But yeah.
Yeah, cast-wise, it's
And then
not
what
a
has she
launcher.
done since?
Scream. She was in one of the recent reboots of Scream.
She didn't quite take off as much as
it
being
doesn't
like a
launch
lower
anyone.
rate Hilary Duff as you thought she would be.
Dave Foley, Kevin Spacey, Julie
No.
Louis-Dreyfus, Phyllis Diller, Richard Kind, David Hyde Pierce, Dennis Leary, Jonathan Harris, Madeline Kahn, Bonnie Hunt, John Ratzenberger, Brad Garrett, Roddy McDowell. They all had careers
Yes.
before this film.
I would love to have known.
Some Kevin Spacey,
Yeah.
for not so long after this film.
He did, but he didn't last that long.
Cancelled. No one from That 70s Show. Speaking of current topical cancellations.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we're not going to. Do you want to give some awards?
We should give some awards.
Okay.
You know
This-
what's hard, Lee?
Extras.
Extras when they're all animated.
When they're copied and pasted, it's very hard for them to make mistakes.
Ant number, that fifth ant in the background is making a weird face.
So, for the Andy Millman Worst Extra Award, I'm not sure we can award it.
I had a couple.
Okay.
There was a grasshopper, Hopper's like, we're going to stay here and we're not going to go to the ants. And
Yep.
then it just goes to this grasshopper and he's just like, yeah. And then I also want to say
Unnecessary.
that thumper grasshopper. You know, the weird psycho one.
Yeah.
Doesn't have lines, but he's a bit more than an extra maybe. Yeah. And then there's a spider thing doing a drum roll. At one point, I can't remember what it was, but I thought that was awkward.
I didn't have anyone.
But there's not real extras, I don't think.
No, it's
You can't
odd.
really-
You can't do that in animation.
Yeah,
So, do we give it to the
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Because remember in Free Willy, we almost gave it to all those guys hunting the whale that were just on the boat going, yeah.
He's the grasshopper equivalent.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, we're staying here, boys. And he's like, yeah.
Okay. Do I have to make a TikTok out of that?
Yeah. You have to find that one grasshopper, and they all look the same,
Right.
except for the three that have names.
Yeah. It's like, I wrote in my notes, one grasshopper that says, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a couple of the ones that speak of the ants have different heads.
Yeah.
the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's the Andy Millman Worst Extra Award. The Best Extra, I am straight away nominating the guy that goes, I'm lost!
Yeah.
when the leaf comes down.
Yeah.
Because, like Estelle Reiner, we are allowed to have one line.
I am also nominating the bug that flies into the bug zapper. No, don't go to the bed. It's so
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes, Bug Zapper Bug.
I'm also nominating, these are all very close to each other.
Yeah.
I'm also nominating the bug that's a mime.
I was going to put that on the list because I'm like, it's a caterpillar. Like, it's a caterpillar? Is there a...
Is it a caterpillar or like a millipede?
Is there like some entomological reason for a centipede millipede to be a mime?
No, I think it's just what do people do in big cities? There's mimes. It's a bug being a mime. And then also,
Maybe it's just lots of hands can be in the glass
That's
box.
true.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's that.
Which I thought was quite funny. And then the
Yeah.
fact that when Flick runs away, but he doesn't move because he's just a mime.
Just
So
runs.
he just pretends to run.
Sad. Can I nominate it sad? It's not in the most cryingest moment, but kid ripped off my wings.
Oh,
And he's playing the violin on his own leg.
oh my
Cricket.
God.
That's clever.
That is clever.
Yeah.
And then I'm also nominating the drunk mosquito.
Yes.
Yep.
What do you think, though? I'm lost. Because that could be iconic.
No, I'm Bug Zapper.
That's also iconic. Okay, Bug Zapper Bug. Because that's going to be much easier for me to find on
Or is that
YouTube
most
to rip
do we,
onto
do we
TikTok.
just go most iconic scene for that? Do Mime Bug.
I liked him playing on the violin on his own leg, homeless cricket.
I love that we couldn't find a worst extra, but we got plenty of best extras. I did almost write down that mime one. Not the mime one, the cricket one. We'll do that.
Okay, because he doesn't technically have a line.
No.
All right. But I will, just for the
Is
nostalgia.
that the same kind of scene?
Yeah. I'll put that whole scene on. Because I think the mime is there just after he sees the homeless guy.
Yep.
Well, I didn't cry.
I thought that the
Ben
moment that
Stiller most
must have
cryingest
been the
moment.
teary was at the end where they're all like almost, and then
Slow clap
the circus bugs clap, flick, and then it's like a slow clap thing. It's like, you're one of us now. Well done.
Nah.
Okay. That's fine.
The Halle Berry X-Men Worst Line Award. When the spider says to the pill bug, oh, they don't understand me, about the pill bugs. I just found that unnecessary.
Uh-huh.
It's a very good script otherwise.
I wrote, it's one of those circle of life things, because I thought that was it kind of.
Yes.
And then I wrote, hold on, Mr. Ant.
All right.
Brad Garrett doesn't get many lines.
No.
So I'm just going to say that. And then when you first brought them here, I thought they were a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, that's unnecessary. I also wrote, you can rub lotion on me later, Shade Boy.
Weird.
Creepy, because she's also old.
Yeah.
Or the Queen is
The
also
Queen
old.
and Phyllis Diller. Yeah. Ha ha! That's my Phyllis Diller.
Rub lotion on me, unnecessarily horny.
Ooh, horny point.
Horny point.
Well, Flick and Ada get a bit horny for each other.
Yeah.
Next minute, he's the prince. And also, what I found weird, this is a bit off topic.
After the Queen uses them to make a baby? I thought the drone ants died.
True. Yeah, probably.
Or is that bees?
That's bees. But maybe ants as well. I don't really know. Because, she becomes the queen at the end.
Yeah.
Ada. But,
Is Phyllis Diller
Phyllis
dead?
Diller just goes, I'm done.
She abdicates. She
just
die.
goes, I'm old. I'm retiring from queenness.
There is a lot of entomological artistic license.
Well, yeah, it's a
this
kids' movie.
What do we rub lotion on me later?
Yeah.
Just because I just went because there's not other dirty jokes in there.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's unnecessary.
The only other dirty joke was kind of like, come over in here and pollinate. God, that sounded mean. Why don't you come up and pollinate me sometime?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like Shrek where there are adulty jokes in there.
The actually line that I thought was hilarious, it was something like they was getting ready to do something and it was like, ladies and gentlemen, rub your legs together, like that's applause kind of thing. That was fun.
Yep. I also did ladies and gentlemen and larvae of all stages.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that was the same kind of.
There were intros, yes. All right, so that's the Halle Berry X-Men worst line in the movie. The I'm Your Father most iconic scene. This was tough.
It was, because there's not one scene that stands out like other
I'm Your
Pixar
Father.
movies.
Yeah.
Like
Woody being pulled along by Buzz Lightyear to chase the car.
Yes.
That's the most iconic scene, probably of the 5 Toy Story movies.
There's 5?
Well, according to the list on Google, on Wikipedia, there is.
There's only 4.
No, there's 4. 5 might be coming, they say.
Ooh.
Well, upcoming, TBA, June 13th, 2025, March 6th, 2026, and June 19th, 2026. So they have the dates set, but not the movies.
Not that they've been
Directors,
confirmed. Yeah.
story writers, screenplays, or producers set.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
They've just got Tom Hanks.
In February 2023, Disney CEO Bob Iger announced that a 5th Toy Story film is in development.
I don't know if they need another Toy Story film.
As long as people are going to go to the movies.
Yeah, but come up with another idea, Pixar.
I didn't see Toy Story 5.
Come up with
4.
one that's planes. Oh, they've done that, haven't they?
I think so. They've got Cars 2. They did do The Good Dinosaur. Cars 3. I don't know if they'd done planes.
Am I thinking of something else, or was that just a joke? Is that a joke in a movie?
I think there were planes in Cars.
Okay.
One of the things I like about Cars is that the real world is in Cars as Cars. So there's like a Toy Story. There's a Cars version of Toy Story in the Cars universe.
Okay. That got very confusing.
Look it up on the memes.
Yeah, okay. Most iconic scene from Bug's Life, though.
Yes.
I wrote the bird attack one, when it's a real bird.
Oh, yeah.
Or the fake bird attack, but I'm not really quite sure that stands out. But then I wrote, just because it's the one I remember the most, that I'm a beautiful butterfly.
I think I'm a beautiful butterfly. Or Don't Go Into the Light.
Well, yeah, maybe Don't Go Into the Light is the most iconic scene, because then you know it's Bug's Life.
Yeah, which is odd because it's just a throwaway joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that... Yeah? Is it?
Yeah. Not great. I could name more iconic scenes from Up.
Oh, Up.
It's the montage.
It is the montage. It's the... when... Oh, I'm going to cry. It's when he's sitting and then there's the empty chair next to him. See, this is what I mean about what Pixar became.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you're crying 10 minutes into a movie,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, Up.
And then...
I cried at the little fucking dumpling boy short.
Oh, fucking hell.
What's it called? They have all those little shorts.
Up.
No.
Oh,
My Little Momo.
Ooh. No, I can't remember. Anyway.
So, all right, that's the I'm Your Father most iconic scene from Bug's Life. Any further comments on A Bug's Life?
I mean, it's good. It's not as good as the other Pixar movies. Like we've said, Pixar has come a long way.
Yes.
And the type of animation has come a long way as well. But hey, if it meant that then they had the money to make...
It helped fund WALL-E
There
and
you go.
Finding Nemo.
There you go.
So, there you go. All right, because we're reviewing A Bug's Life, it is the first movie of Two Drink Cinema from the Pixar studio that we are reviewing. We are going to do our top 5 Pixar movies.
I already know Lee's number one.
If you've listened to the podcast long enough, you will know my number 1. So I'm going to start with my number 5,
Uh-huh.
Finding Nemo.
Oh,
Yeah,
same.
which is tough because
I know.
it's a very
this
good
was
movie.
Actually, a very tough list.
It's such a tough
I had
list.
to whittle it down from about
Jeez,
8 movies.
The Good Dinosaur could have scraped into number 14. There's a couple that I haven't seen. I haven't seen Lightyear and I haven't seen Turning Red, Luca. Probably haven't seen anything in the last 5 years.
The one when I was looking up things that got good scores and a lot of reviews was Coco, and I haven't seen Coco.
Yes.
So that Coco is not on my list.
Other than Incredibles 2, I haven't seen a Pixar movie since Brave in 2012.
Oh, God.
So,
Really?
Monsters University? No. Oh, Inside Out.
Yeah.
I saw that. The Good Dinosaur. You said no one saw it. It only took $50 million less than A Bug's Life at the box office.
Inflation.
Inflation, yep.
Anyway.
Okay, so both our number 5s are Finding Nemo.
Yes.
Great story.
Yeah.
Great characters.
Great.
Only one
look.
of the main cast are cancelled.
Ellen. Yep.
Um,
Jeffrey Rush almost was. Was he in this? Or was that somebody else?
No, he's the narrator in Minions.
No, but he's...
Eugene Levy is the dad in Finding Nemo, isn't he?
No, isn't it like... oh my God.
Albert Brooks.
Yes.
Yes. And Ellen DeGeneres. Yes. Yes, Albert Brooks is the dad. He's not cancelled.
Bill Hunter.
Ellen
Sorry.
DeGeneres.
He's dead.
Alexander Gould is the voice of Nemo, and hasn't he come a long way? While he was maybe in the studio, I think surely he gets more lines. Brad Garrett was in it as well.
Yeah, he was probably just like a bird.
Allison Janney.
Allison
He was
Janney?
Bloat. Jeffrey Rush was Nigel.
Yeah, he was a bird or a shark.
Yeah, one of the
He's not
One of the-
cancelled though. He
one of the-
almost was.
seagulls.
Maybe he's a penguin.
Bloat, his name was.
Brad
Not
Garrett.
Happy Feet, different.
Oh.
What's your number 4?
My number 4, what have you said yours? My number 4 is Toy Story 3.
Okay. My number 4 is Wall-E.
Okay.
I love Wall-E.
Wall-E didn't make my list.
Really?
Yeah. Wall-E didn't make my list. I was like, it was between that and Finding Nemo.
I like Wall-E, and Wall-E's in my number 4 spot, partly because message, but also partly because it's essentially because it's like that silent film type of emoting without words. And I really think they did a really good job of storytelling with limitations.
So Wall-E is the number 1 IMDb rated Pixar movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was like number 12 or something on like Rotten Tomatoes. Because the number one Pixar movie has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
You know what I'm sick of? Speaking of Rotten Tomatoes. No. Something comes out.
That's Pixar's next movie. It's going to be about Rotten Tomatoes. And there's one Rotten Tomato that they're going to throw out, but then they don't throw him out. But then he comes good and he's really good in the sauce.
Because he gets 100% rating.
Yeah.
What I don't like about the Rotten Tomatoes website is the way other media articles latch onto it, right?
Yeah.
So if you release something that's for a niche audience, right? Let's say Squid Game, right? Didn't become for a niche audience, right?
Yeah.
But if you weren't into Korean or Asian type cinema,
Yeah.
you weren't at the front of Squid Game.
Yes.
Yeah. So what someone will do is they'll release something like Squid Game, and then everyone that's into that watches it, loves it, gives it a rating. So then 2 days later,
did you like Squid Game? Here's the other ones like
Lad
that.
Bible or
Yeah.
BuzzFeed go, Squid Game has 100% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Like, yeah, because only people that are into Squid Game have watched Squid Game.
Yeah.
So then you look 6 months later and it's got an 81% rating.
Yep.
Anyway, so we both agreed on the number 5 of being Finding Nemo. I put Wall-E as number 4 and you put Toy Story 3.
Yes, I did.
In my number 3 spot, I put Toy Story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
If I could
might have the same number 2 now that you've said that.
Well, I don't think we do. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Inside Out.
That very nearly made my list.
I think it's just very good in terms of emotions, and then it's quite deep and all very very Pixar and very well acted voice acting.
I feel like I want to watch in a similar vein Turning Red. Vein is not a great choice because it's about periods. And
not very subtly about menstruation.
No, but
Just to find it weird that the
controversy.
word menstruation starts with men. Shouldn't it be like womenstration?
Yeah, I don't think the hardcore feminists like it. I think they need a new word.
Womenstration. Womenstration.
The passing. Could you just call it the passing? Once a month.
The shedding. No.
The shedding. The relining.
Jesus.
Turning Red is a film about a girl's first relining.
Relining. Was it from... Oh, no, it was Big Hero 6 that there was controversy. Because they did that Baymax series.
Yeah.
And there was the small thing of like, it's like you get him as a helper.
Yeah.
And the girl at school has her first relining.
Relining, yep.
And then Baymax goes to the chemist to get relining materials.
Relining
Lacquer and
support.
gyprock and wallpaper and stuff.
Sugar soap to clean the walls.
This is disgusting. This is the worst conversation we've ever had. That's made it to air.
Sorry to ladies that are going through their relining. And
Sorry to the kids that are watching Bug's Life and then thought they'd tune in. And then, there's people saying, oh, you should get this one for this. You should get this one for this.
Yep,
and there's a trans man buying stuff for his relining. Oh. And are like, oh, you can't tell the people that that's okay. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You can't even tell. Anyway.
Well, you can't tell that it's a trans man. It just looks like a man.
Because they got a little flag on their shit.
Yeah, but like it just looks like a man. And a man could be like, yeah, buy this one because I just bought it for the girl in Turning Red. Like,
Yeah.
what is the number? Are we up to number 2?
We're up to number 2.
Turning Red didn't make any of our lists.
We've gone off. We've completely lost
Number
the plot.
2, Toy Story 3.
Oh,
I think, like...
so, okay. Your list
No.
is...
In terms of,
out.
like, what we know Pixar to be
Yeah.
as deep and emotional and about things,
Uh-huh.
Toy Story 3 does that to another level above Toy Story.
Better than one you haven't named yet. That is my number 2.
Yeah, I know. Actually, now that
Up.
I'm looking through that list, I'm like, oh, fuck, Up should be in here.
Up is my number 2.
This is our toughest one we've done.
It's also the one we've been a bit all
Yeah.
over the place.
So I'm putting Up as an honourable mention. Up and Inside Out as honourable mention. Oh, you have Inside Out, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yep.
And I have Up as well.
Oh, okay.
Up is my number 2.
Up is my honourable mention.
Incredibles is my honourable mention.
Incredibles is my number 1. I've watched it a million times, and I cry every time.
I can't believe we cried Incredibles.
It's just, I don't know. Like,
I saw a meme about the Incredibles the other day.
yep,
And it was, the scene at the end where
the Underminer.
Dash is running.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, just don't run too fast. Just go second place. Second, we're fine with second, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I saw the same meme.
And then there's the other parent that's like, what the fuck? And somebody's comment was like, oh, this is great messaging from Pixar. They're trying to tell their kid it's all right with just coming second. You don't need to win all the time.
Yep.
And then somebody replied, I'm like, no, they're superheroes trying to keep their identity a secret.
They're covering up their superhero identity, not sending a message.
Oh,
The Incredibles is my number 1. I was very disappointed by The Incredibles 2.
okay.
Yeah.
My number 1 is the one that started it all. It is Toy Story.
Toy Story. It could, I could have had Up in there. I could have had Inside Out in there.
Yeah, I could have had
could have
Incredibles
had
and Wall-E and
Toy
Finding
Story.
Dory.
Monsters, Inc. is funny.
Monsters, Inc. Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't seen Coco, and apparently it's great. Soul is also apparently really good.
Yeah.
Elemental's just come out, but it's apparently good as well.
Yeah.
But they just do good movies.
It's hard to name a list because they're all quite, because they don't make a bad one, I think is the thing.
Well, we just said Bug's Life is their second worst one after The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, but like the Bug's Life is their version of like Thor, Love and Thunder. Like it's still good, but it's just not that great compared to the other Pixar cinematic universe.
But Pixar don't have that disgustingly rabid fan base that wants to cancel Bug's Life the way people want to cancel Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
I said it.
I can't believe I used
You're
Marvel
toxic.
as a reference. Yeah. You're toxic, MCU fans.
You are.
Be like a DC fan. Just like don't exist.
A guy I follow on TikTok did this funny thing that is like fan bases that are very different but have a similar energy. Mm-hmm. And he's like Taylor Swift girls and Disney adults.
I reckon they're the same people.
They're both
There is a lot of crossover.
The content of Taylor Swift and the content of Disney is very wholesome.
Yeah.
But if you cross them, they will shank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a toxic fan base.
They're the same girl.
He didn't mention... No, Disney adults and Taylor Swift girls. Disney adults are toxic.
Yeah.
Like full Disney adults.
yeah.
And I know we have a friend who hosts a Disney podcast, but she does it in a different way.
Disney adults are Disney gays. And Taylor Swift gays. Like, there are certain things in life that don't line up, right?
There's a guy at karaoke who regularly sings I Need a Hero, which is a great song from Footloose.
From Shrek 2. Oh.
He sings the Shrek 2 version.
Well, duh.
No.
It's like the drag queens that do lip syncs to, like, the Glee version of Don't Rain on My Parade and not the Barbra Streisand version.
I listened to Don't Rain on My Parade on the way to karaoke the other night, and I sung it wrong because I sung the Glee version and not the Babs version. Anyway, that's our list. Finding Nemo, Wall-E, Toy Story, Toy Story 3, Incredibles for me.
Finding Nemo, Toy Story 3, Inside Out, Up, Toy Story. I will say Toy Story 2 almost made my list.
Okay, so Toy Story 2 gets an honourable mention.
Yeah.
And Like,
I think the thing with Toy Story 3 is that what it did well
is that my husband cried for the last 20 minutes?
Yeah, what it did well is that because it was 15 years after the first one, that people that watched it as kids had that emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
But then some of them would have had kids themselves by then.
Yeah. What they absolutely nailed, and this is why Pixar is the level that it is because they were like, Toy Story 3, we know that kids have watched Toy Story and Toy Story 2 on DVD or
with their parents.
Becoming to streaming.
Yep.
But Toy Story 3, we know people that were 10 to 15 years old in 1995 are going to come to the cinema. And so they fully made it a movie that works for a 35-year-old as much as it works for an 8-year-old.
I reckon
They absolutely nailed it.
I think that because Toy Story 3 and Up were nominated for Best Picture, but they were in the years where you had 10.
Yeah.
I reckon Toy Story would have been close to getting a Best Picture thing.
Yeah.
It was not a great year, 1995.
What else was around?
Exactly.
Well, I can't tell you because I'm not
Braveheart. Oscar bait.
All right, that's enough. Great studio. If this is the lower end, then it just proves how good a studio there are.
Exactly.
Really. So is there any more you want to say about Pixar or Toy Story or what?
No, it's all good.
All right, so next, let's have a look what we're doing next and make sure that it's actually available on a streaming service.
Okay, let's do that. That would be smart.
All right, so... Oh, okay, it's available... In Australia, it's available on one streaming service. It's 45 years old. It is Superman the movie, which I have, and you can maybe see... It's behind.
That's how much Lee loves it.
I've got a box set. I actually do love Superman the movie.
With Jor-El.
Gene Hackman, Marlon Brando. And...
What's her name? She went crazy.
Yeah, it's not Karen Allen. Margot Kidder.
Margot Kidder. Yeah, and of course, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, and Christopher Reeve. So that is from 1978. In Australia, it's available on Binge. I assume in the States and other places it's available. If not, it's available for $3 in 4K on Amazon Prime.
Another great score.
Oh, John Williams. We had a bit of... we had someone comment on one of our old reels recently about me saying about the James Bond theme.
Uh-huh.
And their favourite is Raiders, which is not a non-John Williams.
All right.
The Incredibles, we mentioned just before,
is your favourite.
Is up there. Back to the Future, James Bond, Incredibles, James Bond. My top 3 non-John Williams themes. Superman is in the top 5 of John Williams themes for me.
I don't know what my favourite non-John Williams... It's probably Gladiator.
I will, and I can whisper so my husband doesn't hear. Superman above Star Wars. In terms of John Williams themes.
I think because Superman's less just stolen from something else.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, we won't get into that. We'll be here for another hour.
But fair run. He had Star Wars and then Superman the next year.
Should we just talk about John Williams next week when we're actually doing the movie?
All right, let's do a 6 degrees to get us from A Bug's Life to Superman. Okay?
Gene Hackman.
Kevin Spacey?
Can we use him?
Is he cancelled from
He's cancelled from,
Julie Louis-Dreyfus to Gene Hackman.
Christopher Reeve.
Gene Hackman can get us to Robin Williams. Marlon Brando, Al Pacino plays the soup Nazi in Seinfeld. He doesn't, but that's what gets Elaine banned.
Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking, and I'm going Gene Hackman was in Unforgiven with Morgan Freeman.
Okay,
He's done a lot of movies.
Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman. Gene Hackman to Robin Williams has also done a lot of movies.
Marlon
through
Brando.
Birdcage, which we've also done.
Marlon Brando was like Apocalypse Now with like Martin Sheen,
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Yes. To Dave Foley.
Today for
Kevin Spacey. Jennifer Wright. Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
Hang on.
I
Was
think it'd be Kevin Spacey was Usual Suspects
Usual Suspects, yes.
with the no, that's a Baldwin, not an Estevez.
I can't look up who else was in there.
No, because that's cheating.
Wasn't Morgan Freeman in Seven?
He was.
So that's Kevin Spacey
Oh,
to
Kevin
Morgan
Spacey,
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman. So
Yeah.
Gene Hackman was in Unforgiven with Morgan Freeman, who was in Seven with Kevin Spacey, who was in Pug's Life.
Yeah. Cancelled. Do we do an uncancelled version?
Do we do an uncancelled one where we can't use Kevin Spacey?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, I'm trying to
Phyllis
remember
Diller.
I don't fucking know any Phyllis. Bonnie Hunt
Yes.
was in Jumanji with Robin Williams. So didn't you say we could get to Robin Williams somehow?
Gene Hackman and Robin Williams were in the Birdcage together.
There you go. Gene
Gene
Hackman.
Hackman, Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt.
Done.
Also 3 steps.
Yeah.
And none of them
Have cancelled.
yet.
Yeah.
Who,
Who knows what Bonnie Hunt's done?
yeah.
I mean, her name sounds dirty.
And as long as, Kirsten Dunst might
Yeah.
film in the most normal looking part of their estate to do a letter of support for Bonnie Hunt. Awkward.
Very
That 70s show, awkward. And it probably means we're not going to see any more of that 90s show, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
I watched one episode.
Yeah. Have you
Enough
watched
said.
any of How I Met Your Father?
I have.
Let's save that for 2 out of 3 recommend.
Yeah.
The link to that 2 out of 3 recommend feed is in the episode description if you want to hear us talk about things other than movies. But that's it for this week for To Drink Cinema. We are watching Superman the movie, not Superman 2, not Superman 3, and not Superman 4 Quest for Peace.
Ah, you said it.
All right, so we are doing that next week, so get in tune for that 45-year anniversary.
Oh.
Thanks, Brett.
Auf Wiedersehen. Jeez. Thanks for listening to Two Drink Cinema. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcast, either leave a tip or become a member for early access to these episodes by using the link in the show notes.
Join the Facebook group for more chat about the movies we review and make sure you follow us on the socials to keep up to date.
Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your podcast app.
Happy viewing and drink responsibly.